What's up, guys? So today, since I'm posting this video, I'm here to review a Spongebob game. Now you're probably wondering, what Spongebob game is that? Well, it's pretty much probably the most. This was the very first Spongebob game, but I'm gonna have to find it. But the game we're talking about today is a game that people don't remember or hate or consider people, because most people consider this game to be a bad game. Well, I don't actually agree with that statement, but there at least some enjoyable. At least there were some things that I at least enjoyed about the game. Definitely not a downright horrible game. So honestly, the game I'm reviewing today is SpongeBob SquarePants: The Legend of the Lost Spatula. Now, before you guys complain about, oh, we don't want to see it, why review Legend of the Lost Spatula? And why do you think it's not like a bad game? Are you like a lover of this game? No, not at all. I am not a big fan. I don't even like Legend of the Lost Spatula. But I would probably say, but once we're done with this video, I'll talk about the main reason why this game gets hated a lot, and my personal review. And let's start off with the story of this game. So the story is that when SpongeBob finds a statue that appears out of nowhere, Mr. Krabs tells Mr. Krabs about it, and tells him that it's with the golden spatula. That there's a golden spatula in the Flying Dutchman's underworld, and tells he tells him if you bring the spatula back, golden spatula back, he would be rich, and SpongeBob would become the master fry cook. So now when I have played Legend of the Lost Spatula, honestly, but first, let's talk about gameplay. So the gameplay of this game is pretty bad, actually. It's pretty bad game. The gameplay is it's an open world, but except in the form of a side scroller like Yellow Adventurator. So basically this game is open world, but except has side scrolling just like Yellow Adventure, like I just said. Sorry if I repeat myself, but basically you go travel around Bikini Bottom, collecting items and bring them back to the character, or getting your own items and getting items to go on your quest. So you're probably wondering, how long would this take you? How long the game takes you? It takes you a grand total of 36 minutes. Yeah, it takes you 36 minutes just to complete this game. Now you're probably wondering, why 36 minutes? Because this game is 36 minutes long. And that's how I describe it as, 36 minutes, and that's how I describe the game. But what about enemies? Some of them are just basically enemies they're just enemies from the show. Yeah, they pretty much are. Next up, voice acting. There's no voice acting, but I get it because it's an old game. It's just like Mario, how it doesn't have no voices. I understand that too. What about boss battles? Boss battles in this game are pretty just like simple. All you have to do is just you have to grab one of your items, use it at the enemy, and try to do it 4 more times, and then you get the item that you continue, so you continue your quest, and that's it. Okay, now, the next thing I want to talk about is the graphics. The graphics are basically 8-bit, so I don't expect that much from this game, but it's really good with the graphics. The graphics looks good, it has really good lighting, and it's definitely a good. When it comes to this game, I feel like the 8-bit visuals are the best part of the game. And of course, the references as well. The references are pretty good as well. But That's all I can say. Okay, next up, so also, what about playable characters? SpongeBob is the only playable character, just like because later on he would also be the only playable character in several SpongeBob games, like because later on he would be the only playable character in some SpongeBob games like Super Sponge. Later on, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, A Play in the Month, Yellow Adventure. Yeah, I think Yellow Adventure had that. Yellow Adventure. Um. Trooper Square as well. Trooper Square as well had that, and the Cosmic Shake recently. So basically, these are because these SpongeBob games only had SpongeBob as a playable character, but I don't mind that. I really don't mind it because I don't mind that he does it. I don't mind if it's a playable character, but seriously, I don't think it's like that great if you're just like literally playable only the playable character. So yeah. Okay, you're probably wondering what I'm doing right now is because my eyes are keep rolling at some point at the screen. Like watch. Like when I'm talking, like literally. It does happen a lot. And I don't understand that. But oh, you saw that? Yeah. You saw that, but anyways, back to the video. Oh my god, my eyes. I keep doing that. Okay. Next up is the soundtrack. Now, the soundtrack in this game is basically great. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack, like, listen to some of these gems on the screen, on here. Like, listen to some of these soundtracks of the game. For instance, Rock Bottom. The Rock Bottom music, man, is so catchy. I can't even say a single thing about that. It was very enjoyable seeing that. Like here. Don't hear it? Do that, do that, do that, do that. But anyways, back to the music. Like I said, the soundtrack is great and it's definitely thing. Now, what about? So you're probably also wondering, why does? Now I'm gonna talk about why does this game get so hated. Now, number one is because it was too difficult. People say it's difficult. It's too confusing when you're playing when you're platforming. Now, honestly, I think gathering items can be confusing in this game sometimes, but I don't mind it really. It's just a game. It's just a game. What can I do? Really can do, but literally, it just literally does. I don't mind it. Please, just don't think you hate. Just don't hate the game if you never played it. If you play the game, give your own rating, and that's it. Don't agree with everyone's opinion, because I honestly. My opinion still has not changed since I played this game for the first time. Since I played this game back when I was 6. In 2016. Because that game, honestly, the game was not that great, honestly. It was not really good in the game, honestly, when I played it in 2016. Or 17, I think. Another thing that does people... But that's... I think another reason why people don't like this game is the physics sometimes. And how the platform can be so hard, can be so super too fast. Yeah, SpongeBob jumping animation can be sometimes annoying, and I don't like how it can be super fast because then it makes me screw up on platforming. But it only happens a lot, but it doesn't happen like all the time, at least, because I just don't mind it. Number 2. I think number 3's biggest problem I heard a lot of people say is pretty much how you keep getting it makes you have to, like, you know, get every collectible just to get this game 100%. Okay, I'll agree with some points. I'll give them points for that at least, because I felt like I had to collect everything, and I did it in all one go, and it just made me burn out at the end. Number four's biggest problem I heard a lot of people say, because once I get to everybody's, why do people hate this game, then I'll go on my overall flaws of the game, and then do my rating of the game. All right. Next. Okay. So number four's, did I say number four's biggest problem with the game is pretty much how it's so, well, how the platforming can be complex and very hard. Yeah, I already said that for number three. I don't know. And I think number five's biggest problem with the game is how difficult it is. Well, okay, there is some parts of some level of some mission, some locate areas where I thought I was frustrated, like Super Sponge kind of style, and Revenge of the Flying Dutchman as well. But it's not the worst SpongeBob game, honestly. It's not the like this game is the first one, so I can't really say that. But okay, now let me talk about my problem. Now let me talk about my problems with the game. Number one, here's my 5 biggest problems with the game in terms of like my opinion, and the flaws of it for me. Number one, let's go over all 5 of them. Number one is pretty much SpongeBob's jumping on platforming, how SpongeBob jumps on platforms. It makes it way harder for the player. Yeah, this happens a lot of times and I hate it, but I don't think it's like worse than Super Sponge. Ugh, that game kind of like the Game Boy. I have not played the console version, but I heard a lot of people hate this game though. So yeah, I would say it's honestly the first SpongeBob game. But next up I want to talk about is number 2's biggest problem with this game in terms of like my opinion is some of the enemies, is how the enemies act. The enemies I don't like the enemies in this game. The enemies are is sometimes hard to defeat, and they make me mad sometimes. They make me so frustrated, actually. Number 4's biggest problem with this game, and I think it's like mostly not the worst one, because number 5 is the worst, but yeah. Number 4's biggest problem is how sometimes the items can be scattered around and you have to find your way to get them. Which some of them can be annoying, but I don't think it's like the biggest problem. It's just not really I don't think it's a good idea. It was just very annoying and irritating. Not like the worst in Super Sponge, alright? I think the number 5's biggest problem with the game, and I think it's a nitpicky one, is how some of the models look. Some of the models look terrible. They look like they were made for Mario. Honestly, I feel like they were made for Mario when they made some of them bad models. Yeah. And yeah, while this game is not perfect, while this game is not a really good game, I don't think it's not a bad game. I honestly think it's just like not in my book. But alright, let's go on to the final question. Is this game worth it? Well, actually, maybe a little. Now, when I say maybe a little is because I actually do not like I said, I don't like this game, but I actually say right now that I probably would say this game is average. Now, it's not that bad. It's not like a bad game in general. It just had some slow moments. Some of the gameplay was slow and boring and just not my type. But it's not worse than Super Sponge, because that will be my next video. Because Memorial Day, I'll probably review Super Sponge in the rest of the games tomorrow. But maybe today I'll do Operation Krabby Patty next, and then deploy Super Sponge after that video. So probably today I'll do that. Then tomorrow I'll probably do Employee the Above, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, Battle for Key, Mod of the movie game, and the rest of the games. But anyways, so what's my overall review? What's my overall opinion on the game? So, what's my ranking of the game if it's mediocre? So, this is a mediocre game, and in some later SpongeBob games also did the same thing, like a Revenge of Flying Dutchman, Alaska Panthers did the same thing, Yellow Adventure, and I think also another SpongeBob game that does this was SpongeBob's. Sorry, not that video. I think the last SpongeBob game that does this, the mediocre side, was Operation Krabby Patty. Was Nighty Nightmare. Yeah, those are the 5 games pretty much. Yeah, that's honestly that's just my opinion on the game. So yeah, the ranking of this, I would probably give this game a littering 5 out of 10. This game gets a 5 out of 10. It's not like definitely not the worst SpongeBob game, but definitely not the best. It could have been better, but honestly, by a stance, I still think this is the same. This game is just mediocre, but it's definitely better than the most mediocre bland SpongeBob game, which I think the most bland mediocre game would probably be not like Scrapantis, but probably like I would probably say honestly Yellow Adventure, honestly, because Yellow Adventure was better. Was honestly the most bland, mediocre SpongeBob game of all time. Honestly, that's what I think of it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know this sounds like nitpicky, but honestly, this is just my opinion on the game. It's not that bad, but I would probably say that. So see you later, and see you in the next video. Bye.